Hey, this is Papa from Street Fighter TradingSystem.com. Alright guys, so far we have talked about searching for opportunities on the retrace, but now the question is when we should actually execute the trade, right? So before we do, we first need to understand what is a pivot high and a pivot low, also called swing low and swing high. So I've put together some visual examples over here. So let's take a look at it, right? So on the downtrend, okay, let's focus on the candles around here, right? So what we want to do on the downtrend, as I say, we want to wait for the retrace, but we want to enter when we see a swing high. So what does it mean, a swing high? To have a swing high, we need 3 candles, okay? And we need to look at the basically only at the wicks of the candle. So the first candle has to go is like this, right? Then it goes up. The next candle goes up and it's higher than the previous candle. And then the third one needs to go lower. So the low of this candle needs to be lower than this one. Okay, so I repeat. To have a swing high, I look only at the wicks or the shadow. Okay, and then what I want to do is to have a pivot. I need a candle in the middle, which is higher than the previous one, but lower than the next one. Okay, so the way we want to enter a trade, okay, so if we had a trade, the idea is that we want to anticipate, right, when we will have a candle that will go lower than this low. So what will happen is that we are going to put a sell, okay, below the low of this candle, okay, and if there is a candle, so not directly below the low, right? So we want some space. So usually it will be like one tick because me, I'm trading the ES. But let's say you create cryptocurrencies or whatsoever, it will be like 1 cent or $1 or whatever, depending on your spread, right? So you put it one unit below the low of this candle, and if the next candle goes lower, right? So it's the case of this one, you will enter the sell. Okay, so let's take a look on the example over here. So we mark down a couple of retrace, right? But how do we actually enter the trade? As I said, we need to find, okay, a candle that breaks the low of the previous one. Okay, so here it retrace. Okay, so is this candle lower than this one? No. Is this candle lower than this one? No. But each time, what I want to do when it does this retrace, I want to put my sell below this candle. So here the trade is not executed. If I put my low, my sell below this candle, right? On the next one, we can see that it triggers, okay? Because this candle is lower than this, so I would have entered the short. Okay. So by the way, I will say short instead of sell. It's the word that is used when you sell. Basically, we say that we short. Okay, we sell, and if we buy, we say that we are doing a long. Right? A long. You don't say buy or sell. We say short. So, long is a buy. Okay. So here I would have entered the trade, so short, when this candle would have broken the low of this one, okay, but one tick below. On the next example, so I have this, if I didn't saw what happened after, so when I see the retrace, so this is an impulse move, right, to the downside. Then I have the candle that goes upward. I try to, it's starting to retrace. So I put my sell stop below this candle, but it doesn't trigger because no candle is going down this one. Okay, on this one, I will put again my sell stop below this and see on the next candle if it is firing or not. Okay, happening. So it doesn't, right? So what I do is I change my sell stop to the low below this one. Okay, and then on the next one it triggers. All right, so here I would have entered the trade. Okay, again the last example on the downside. So let's say you were seeing this. So at the beginning you don't see what's happening, right? So here it does your impulse move. Then you put your sell stop below this candle. Does it trigger on the next? No, right? So you move your sell stop to the next one, and then you see if it triggers. Yes, so this candle is lower than this one. You can see the low of this is lower than this. So you would have entered the trade. Okay, so this is for the downside, and for the upside, you want to look at the flip side, right? So let's take a look at it. So I head down for the upside. I want to look for swing low on the retrace. Okay, so same thing. To have a swing low, I need 3 candles at least, and I'm focused on the middle one, right? So this one is lower than this one, and this one is higher than this one. Okay, so we want to look at this, and the way we want to trigger and enter a long, right, is the price does an impulse move, and then this candle goes lower than this one. Okay, so I'm gonna put a buy stop above this candle, right? And if it triggers, I will be entering the trade, and it does, right? You see on the next candle. So let's say I've seen only this. On the next candle, this high is bigger than, it's higher than this one. So I would be inside the trade. Okay. What about this one? So here, so let's say I don't see what's happening on the right. I would have triggered. So by the way, to have the impulse, you must take the highest point, right? So the highest point is not, it was not this one, it was that one. So based on this, I need a retrace, and the retrace doesn't happen. It's still going higher. So here, actually, on my previous video, I did a mistake because we don't have a retrace, right? It's always, the candles are always going higher, right? So actually, this is not a good example at all. There's no retrace over here, right? So let's check the next one. So here it does a higher point, and then here it retraces because the candle goes lower and then it goes higher, right? So on this candle, as goes higher, what I would have done is that I would have put a buy stop on this candle. Does it trigger on the next? No. So I move my buy stop to be at the high of this candle. Does it trigger on the next one? Yes. So I'll be entering the trade. Okay. So this is how we enter, right? Fairly easy. We put a buy stop above the high of the candle if we are going long. So this is called the swing low, right? So on the retrace, it's a swing low because we have a combination of 3 candles, and on the short side, right, when the market is moving down, we are searching for swing high opportunities. So this is a swing high, right, or a pivot high, depending on who you are speaking to. This is a pivot high, this is a pivot high, and what you want to do is you want to put your sell stop, right, below the low of each candle, and it will become a pivot when you have a candle that breaks the previous one. Okay, so this is how we enter. Now, another thing that I want also to talk about is how do we exit a trade, right? So exiting meaning how do we know that we have lost the trade? So what we want to do is we should put something called a buy stop. Okay, so meaning that we need a plan to exit our trade if it goes against us, and we exit the trade basically at the high, right, of the pivot. So let's say I would have entered this trade, okay, and as I said, we always need to have a plan to exit the trade if it doesn't go in our direction, and for this, right, we need to put a sell stop below, above the high of this candle, so that Let's imagine that the price went higher than this one. I would have lost the trade, but I would have still minimized my loss. Okay, so let's take an example where, for example, it doesn't work. So let's say that you were here, right? So of course, this is not a good selling opportunity because we are late in the party, right? So go on the video where I'm talking about being late on the party. But here, let's say that you have entered this trade, okay? Because you don't know the methodology. So it does an impulse move, retrace, you are putting a sell below the low of this candle, and on the next candle, it triggers, okay? Unfortunately, you can see that on the very next one, right, the price goes higher than this one. So you have lost the trade, right? But this is very important to always have a entry point, okay, but also an exit point, so a stop loss. It's called a stop loss, so that if you lose, you don't use all your bank account, right? You always use a small proportion of what you have played, okay? So again, let's take a look on the upside so that it goes on your mind, how to place a stop loss, right? So the stop loss is on your entry candle. By the way, your entry candle is called the signal bar. Okay, the candle in which you enter the trade is the signal bar. Okay, so let's say that here you have entered the trade. Okay, you will put a sell stop or stop loss below the low of this candle, so that if the price move on the other direction, you still lose, but you will lose a small amount of money. Okay, let's take an example of where it would have saved you, right? So here again, let's say you would have entered this, the price goes up, right? So it's an impulse move, then it retraces, right? You put your buy stop above this candle, right? The trade triggers because this candle, okay, goes above this one. And then what you see is that a couple of candles later, boom, the price goes down, right? So what you want to do is to have a protection, a stop loss. And the stop loss will be below the low of this candle, okay? So I'm gonna wrap up this video and I will tell you, I'll see you on the next lesson.